Okay, we're recording.
Okay. The following agenda for the regular meeting of CTO, Mayor, and Council of the Borough of Pompton Lakes, Passaic County, to be held in Pompton Lakes Municipal Building, 25 Lenox Ave, Pompton Lakes, on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. Okay, the prayer. Dear Lord, please bless this mayor and council as they deliberate on behalf of all the residents of Pompton Lakes. And then please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In conformance with the Open Public Meetings Law, PL 2275, Channel 3231, adequate notice of this meeting setting forth time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting through the notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal buildings, mailed to all who had requests and paid for same, published in the Suburban Trends, and announced on the Pompton Lakes High School announcements.
Okay, now we're going to do roll calls. Bridget Leahy.
Here.
Sophia Tortoso.
Here.
Alexandra Varela.
Here.
Angie Bradford.
Here.
Michaela Horvath.
Here.
Remy L. Gordon.
Here.
Yana Patel.
Here.
And then borough officers, Zakia Morgan.
Here.
And then Julie Barbera. Here.
Meeting for open public comment. Motion moved by Councilman.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody?
Couple of them raise their hand. Michael Serra, 41 West Lenox Avenue, Pompton Lakes. I have a problem with the kids when they're coming out of school. They're on their phones and crossing the street anywhere they want to cross and not crossing the crosswalks, and somebody's going to get killed if they're not picking their heads up from their phones. So I don't know what you guys are going to do about that. Any questions?
Yeah.
I second
Hi, Maria Kent, Glencourt. So there is a resolution here, and I would like for you to explain a little bit about this. Councilwoman Angie is going. You're recommending that we have a community garden on the open space lands to benefit the local food pantry. I think that's an excellent idea. But I do question how are you going to handle the deer population because they eat everything on Summit Avenue. So I'd like to hear a little bit about how you're going to handle that. Thank you.
As your neighbor, Councilwoman Kent, I definitely know that the deer is kind of a big problem all around town, really. I think it's better to have the benefits of that food pantry and kind of have that risk. We can obviously handle the deer as they come. I feel like having different fences and different kind of testing the waters a little bit, having different techniques on how to get it out and see what kind of works best. But I think the benefits of the community garden would really outweigh the kind of efforts that we would have to take to kind of control the deer that way. But yeah, so we're planning on doing that on any open space that we're able to.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Motion to close. Councilman. A second by Councilman
Tortoso.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. May I answer your question? So with the phones and kids, I would definitely say we could maybe implement something in the schools. Maybe have posters or presentations about the dangers of being on your phone and walking. And then possibly maybe talking to crossing guards to see if they can try to tell the kids to get off their phones. Just to kind of bring that awareness to the kids. Anybody else?
If I may, we are also students, so as peers, we could also do our part, due diligence, and inform the students directly to tell them, hey, get off your phones.
So minutes, we have none. Authorized bills, none. Comp time or overtime approval, we have none. Bids, none. Petitions, none. Ordinances, none. And consent agenda, we have resolutions.
Oh, whereas the mayor and council of Pompton Lakes has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions. And whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Pompton Lakes does not desire to remove any resolutions for individual action from that agenda. Now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved.
Okay, resolution 2501, the authorized reduction of parking fees for business owners and employees. Councilwoman Sophia, what do you have to say?
So currently, business owners parking in the pond hole have to pay a parking fee for going into work, which seems awfully counterproductive for what they're doing. They're going to earn money often at minimum wage for most employees, and they're having to pay a pretty large portion of that back in a parking fee. So it's unrealistic to make it a free parking fee with the current circumstances of needing to bring in revenue in the pond hole, but what we could do for them is at least do a reduced parking fee, so it just makes more sense. They're going into work. And I think this could also be more appealing to new business owners who want to come and open businesses in Pompton Lakes, which would ultimately benefit the town and bringing in new revenue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2502, authorized funds to repair potholes on Laurel Ave, Summit Ave, Spruce Street, and Central Ave. Councilman Remy, do you have to say?
Not particularly. I just think that cleaning up the road, fixing up the roads is just generally a good thing. Like, we all drive here, and we want our driving to be safe as possible, and repairing potholes will certainly make that. Plus, it's community initiative.
I'm gonna add on to that. Particularly on Laurel Ave, it's like really bad. It's hard to get even down the street without like popping a tire. Like it's really difficult to get around over there. And then for these other streets too, it's obviously like with plowing and stuff in the winter, it's obviously been a pretty rough winter. So when the plows are coming in, they're really messing up the roads a little bit. So I think like now that it's kind of like getting warmer outside, it's springtime. Like I think that's like something that we could prioritize and kind of mending those and making it more like presentable and easier to get around.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Resolution 2503, authorized funds to repair curbs on Ramapo Ave, specifically near the high school. Councilwoman Alex?
So I know all of last year I had to park on Ramapo, and I think one thing is what's probably making it more difficult to park there is that the curbs are like non-existent, and I know that this is something maybe it's funding to build something that could get just like ruined again, but I think it'll help with resident satisfaction and providing knowledge to newly licensed drivers if we can also do it with some type of coloring. I've seen this like in other places where it's also causing difficulty right now if people aren't parking like far enough from stop signs or like far enough from driveways, and that's making people unhappy. So if we maybe replace these curbs and also color them where you can't park, like I've seen like bright yellow before, so people know like if you're parking incorrectly, you can very obviously see it, and people can't get out of it and say like, we didn't know. Obviously, you can know if the color's right there.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2504, authorize an architect and engineer to design plans for the expansion and development of the bleachers with bathrooms built in below at Lakeside Field. Councilwoman McKayla?
As of right now, there are very small bleachers at Lakeside that do not fit many people, and there are also porta-johns, not actual public restrooms for people to go to. And right now, the residents are complaining a lot about that because at sports games, everyone has to go stand up against the fence. And if there's a big crowd, you can't see the game, you can't see what's going on, you can't see your kid playing. And people are very upset about that. So we would like to expand the bleachers and make them larger and be able to have more seating so people can actually view the field when they're going to the games to see their child play and go to the bathroom if they need to do so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2505, authorize funds to improve Pompton Lake summer recreation camp through the improvements of picnic tables, recreational equipment, and water fountains. Councilwoman Yana?
So I'm sure everybody has had at least some type of contact with the recreational camp, whether it's the kids have gone there, especially as kids as high school kids. I know some of us work there, and even some people as like parents dropping their own kids off. But when you guys go down to the camp, I'm sure you've seen the tables are kind of old, some of the water fountains don't even work, and even the equipment is kind of dated. We feel as to update all of these things, it'll give the kids and the workers a better experience at the camp, thus improving the happiness rate of everybody attending the camp, and that could even bring more people into the camp, thus creating more revenue for the town.
And just to add on top of it, as a worker of the camp, you definitely see that the kids get bored of the same equipment. So if we update it and have better equipment and toys for them to play with, that they'd probably have a better experience at camp. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 2506, develop a community garden on the open space land to benefit the local food pantry. Councilwoman Angie, even though you're touching on it.
Yeah, so we kind of already touched on that. So we obviously wanted to introduce a community garden. So we have the local food pantry, which is right across the street at St. Mary's. So I feel like this would be a really beneficial thing for building community and like social equity and sustainability, just to be able to have that like outlet for people to be able to donate food and kind of like have a sense of community in that way, where everyone's coming together, everyone's helping out with the garden, growing vegetables, fruits, and kind of like sustainable food in that way. And then it also is like creating like a sense of community, like I said before, so everybody's kind of coming together for that common cause, instead of kind of just having everyone do their own contributions to the food pantry, having their own like canned goods, stuff like that, kind of donating in that way. I think having a garden would really like, it would just be like very wholesome, if you want to say it that way. I think it's just like good for the town. And then like we said before, like obviously the deer is a problem, but I think having that source of food and having that that opportunity would outweigh the difficulties that we might have in trying to maintain it. But other than that, I think it's also important to note that we have to make sure that it's in a non-flood zone, because obviously we know that the flood zones in Pompton are atrocious. They're everywhere. It's difficult to get around, but I think that is also an important factor. So
I'd like to add on, right now groceries are really expensive, specifically produce, so it's pretty cheap to buy seeds, and we could cultivate a garden for a less expensive cost, and this is a good way to ensure that people of maybe lower incomes who can't afford to go to the grocery store are still having the nutrients in their diet that they need by growing these fruits and vegetables for lower cost and donating them to the food pantry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2507, further establish garbage pickup routes to ensure that they specifically avoid main roads during school openings in order to be proactive against congestion. Councilwoman Alex?
So I haven't really heard, I'm not completely sure of if there are already established routes or if it's kind of random of which streets are like at which times. So I just heard residents complain of being blocked in at inconvenient times, especially in the morning before school, which already there's a bunch of traffic, especially near the high school with all three schools being near each other. So I think it's something very simple, setting set times for set routes. People would plan accordingly against, and so like, of course, obviously when it snows or rains, you know, like that might delay like the trash pickup of one day, but like consistently just creating these routes so that people can plan around it, and it'll just be something simple to make people happier.
I would like to add on to that. I personally yesterday was stuck behind a garbage truck, which was very frustrating getting to school. So I think this is very important that we have in the morning, the garbage trucks are more on side streets, not Ramapo Avenue, because that was a little bit frustrating.
I'd also like to add on, I think it's not even just the garbage routes. I think it's also just the fact that there's so much congestion in the morning and after school. Like, even though the schools are let out at different times and they're starting at different times, like the traffic going in and out of school it's atrocious. It's so terrible. So I think that would obviously help improve that, so people aren't kind of all trying to get out at the same time. Everybody's trying to, you know, like get around garbage pickup, stuff like that. So I think that like having them maybe do like other like side roads like during like drop off and pick up would be really beneficial, and then have like during school like have them maybe go through the main roads where everybody's coming in at the same time in the morning and at the end of the day there.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So before we begin the presentation certificates, I would like to thank Ms. Bransness, Mr. Patrick, and Mr. Smith, and everyone who made it possible for us to participate in CTO Day. It's been a great opportunity for us to see firsthand how the local government works. And then one other thing I'd like to touch upon, if you were 17 or 18, that you're capable of registering to vote, and then if you are 18 before June, you're able to vote in the primary election in Pompton Lakes, just so you can start getting your voice heard. Okay, and now the presentations of the certificates. So I'd like to call up Mr. Smith. And then I would like to call up Mr. Patrick. And then I would like to swear in Beth Lady to Okay, so repeat after me. I, Beth Leahy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution. I, Beth Leahy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. That I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States. To the same and to the governments established in the United States. And in this state under the authority of the people. And in this state under the authority of the people. And that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Office of Recreation Commissioners. And that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Office of Recreation Commission. According to the best of my ability, so help me God. According to the best of my abilities, so help me God. And then we don't have any council reports, but Administrator Zakia, do you have your report?
Yes. The borough will continue with the treatment of the lake in effort to control the algae and weeds in the waterway. The company will continue to provide the initial chemical applications in April, service calls, surveys of the lake, and reports. A resolution will be on the next agenda. If anyone has any concerns, please let me know.
Okay, and then, so meeting open for public comments. Motion moved by Councilman
Revy.
Second by
Bradford.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have anything?
That means it's.
We got two. Three.
Oh, Kate Cole, 1456 Lincoln Ave, Pompton Lakes. As a past mayor and a person who's gone through this many times, you folks did an excellent job. Really. You make us all very proud, and I hope you take Bridget's advice and take the time to register to vote. You've seen how the process works now, and just keep going, and you'll do a great job in the future. Our future's in good hands with you folks if you keep going. So thank you all for doing this.
Anybody else?
Well, Michael Serra, 41 West Lenox Avenue, Pompton Lakes. I wanted to start by stating, guys, you did a great job up there. It's scary enough to talk in public, and to talk with force and know what you're talking about makes it a big deal. And I know it sounds like a little thing, And the ex-mayor behind me and myself can tell you, there's many, many people come up to this podium and can't speak when they get up here because they're so nervous to speak. So that itself is a big job. Some of the ideas you came up with are great ideas, and we will look into some of the ideas. For example, the garden, I like the idea of the garden and going to the shelter for the food. The issue we have is the DEP, which is the state regulatory agency, gives us problems with putting up fences. So we are looking to do that. Some of the stuff about the bleachers, those are great ideas. You should bring to the school board right back there. And have them look at that. So as you guys probably know or don't know, we kind of share the property, but the school is in charge of most of that property down there. So all the ideas that you came up with are great ideas, and that's why you do this, because we want to get a perspective from your side. You know, we hear from our residents, and quite often I hear from the residents, but we don't hear from the kids enough to understand, because you are the future of what's going to happen here in Palm Lakes. And like the ex-mayor said here, the future looks good with you guys in charge. And I can tell you, we had a gentleman who sat up here a couple of years ago, moved back into town, and now he sits on the planning board as a member of the planning board. And only a couple of years ago, he was sitting in your seats doing what you're doing here. So I thank you for guys for doing that. I'll have some more questions, and then I have some certificates I'd like to give out. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Maria Kent, 17 Glen Court. So I just want to thank you for taking this opportunity to, you know, act as a council person, act as a leader in your community. And you're all very, very nice. And there's a lot of happy faces up there. And I'm hoping that a lot of these things that you brought up, you know, we're actually doing. We are fixing the Lakeside Park. We are going to have new bathrooms. We are going to have a new garage that would help the recreation group, and we are going to be doing all of the curbs and so on. It just, you know, takes a little bit of time. So I would, and being involved in the environmental part of it in the open space for so many years, thank Mayor for all that she's done way back when we were doing this. I'm going to invite you all to our ribbon cutting when we have all these new things, since it's a part of your community as well. So I'll tell Mayor Lady now, let you know when we're going to do that. And I'm inviting you to come to our opening day. Yeah, I hope, unless you're in college. But I'd like you to come and see what it's about, because you kids are the ones that benefit from it. Hopefully you'll be around, and maybe your children will benefit from it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, so motion to close. Councilman. Okay, second by
Ron.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So stay up there. So like I said, guys, you did a great job here. And it's the first time we've actually had a mayor swear in somebody, which is great. So it might be something we move forward as. So when I call your name, if you have a certificate, why don't you come down? Let me start here. Kayla? Where is she? Is she here? No, nice job. Congratulations.
I'll get a group take.
Yeah, we'll do a group. Angie? Nice job.
Is that Remiel?
Yep. Yana.
Thank you.
Alexandra. Julie. Oh boy, I need help with this one.
It's Zakia.
She knew it was coming.
You knew that was coming, you had to know.
Yes, I did.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Sophie. Oh, Sophia, I'm sorry. And for our mayor, Bridget, come on down. We give her a plaque, but we also give her something to bang on all your heads when you're not listening. Nice now. I try not to use it. I know I learned that from Katie herself. We try not to use this a lot, but sometimes we do have to use it. We'll present that to you along with your certificate. Nice job as being the mayor. How about a hand for all of them? I'll ask council to come stand behind your.
Well, they didn't close it.
Oh, I thought they did. Oh. She yelled at me.
Use that mallet.
Okay, so motion to close. Councilman, second by.
Remy?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is closed.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the recording off.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I don't have this off yet. Stop.